right, so we now move on to the next part of In the Headlines, and this is quite literally what is in the headlines today on our papers. I have a copy of the Daily Nation, we have a copy of the Star, the Standard, as well as the People Daily. We will be sampling for you the front pages this morning. But remember, we are still using the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. Our individual handles remain to be at Ray Manyara, at Dorina Range, at Victor Olo, and at Jane Wamboi. I start you off with the front page of the Daily Nation. There you go. Might not be able to read the main read there, but the main story today is in regards to the red alert over toxic nuclear cargo at the port. And the question when it comes to our public health is whether this is an environmental scandal. And this is when in line with a conversation that Regina will be having today when we talk about conservation. What does it really mean? But here is this particular story is in regards to a controversial ship that is docked at Mombasa port, which is loaded with harmful nuclear waste that has been disguised as padlocks and hardware items. The dangerous cargo was intended for dumping at the coast, putting the lives of millions of East Africans in danger. It was the ship was sailing to the port of Dar es Salaam from Mumbai in India. That story has been covered here on page 6. I'll be giving you more details as per how it has been covered. And the date when KMA was informed of the container with radioactive material was actually on the 15th of December, and it has since been looking into the matter. Coming to the other stories in regards to parenting and the nightmare, as here they go on to say parents and nightmare as schools close with the Christmas holidays here after burning dormitories, holding teachers at ransom, going on strike, and drinking themselves to a stupor on their way from school. High schoolers are now home for the short Christmas holiday, and parents have to put up with the nightmare of their unruly behavior. Is your child unruly? Are you among the parents that, you know, the children were sent home due to being part of those that were suspected to have been started some of these fires or damaged school properties? We'd love to know how your experience has been so far, because some school, we do understand they were sent home, but they had to come back for the end of term exams, and now most of them will be closing by the close of this week on the 23rd. That is this coming Thursday rather. All schools ought to have closed. And finally, of course, some story here concerning Mombasa Governor Joho finally backs Nasir for governor. And the other piece is in regards to the positivity rate here in Kenya. In the last 6 days, it has gone from 6.5% to 22.4%. That was on Friday. And on Sunday, it was at 24.4%. That is the current positivity rate. And in regards to the weather, as per what the weatherman has had to say, brace yourselves for heavy rainfall and floods this festive season, as the Met Department warned. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the front page of the Daily Nation for you. We'll be giving you more details in just a bit. Victor.
And still on the front page of the Star Politics here, Raila plots to forestall ODM ticket scares. The party is planning opinion polls considering direct nominations, as party boss stalwarts want consensus to pick candidates. That's what's on the front page of the Star newspaper here. Odinga advisor talks about life and issues with Mutunga. That is Paul Mwangi, who is the political advisor to Honorable Raila Odinga. And One Kenya Alliance chiefs in 2022 pre-poll pact with the Mount Kenya Forum, which says that One Kenya Alliance chiefs yesterday signed an agreement to work with a section of Mount Kenya leaders, tipping the country for a third force. The meeting at Safari Park inked a political pact in which OCA principals will collaborate with the Mount Kenya Unity Forum. They later held rallies in Githurai, Ruiru, Juja, Wetethie Stage, as well as Thika. So, and there is the deal is aimed at forming a third force against Raila and Ruto. And one statement that Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka said that it's now time for Raila Odinga to retire with President Uhuru Kenyatta come next year. Whether that will happen, We will wait and see. One rescued, 6 killed in Muranga building tragedy. He was saved after rescuers heard him calling out for help from under the rubble. The county disaster management team led by Bill Hawanjiku said that the rescued man, only identified as a victor, said that one of his hands was in a lot of pain. He gave his sister's mobile phone number as he was being taken to Thika Level 5 hospital for treatment. That is what's there. The building that collapsed the building that was under construction collapsed at 2 p.m. on Friday, trapping 8 workers who were working on the rooftop floor. Okay, and quickly on some politics as well. Raila plots to forestall ticket chaos in ODM. The ODM leader is crafting an elaborate strategy to guarantee foolproof 2022 nominations and forestall incessant chaos that have historically ruined the party's image. For the first time, the ODM boss has revealed that the party will opt for scientific surveys to assess the popularity of aspirants before issuing them direct tickets to top-ranked hopefuls. So that is what's happening, and it's an issue across the political divides. Remember, even the UDA deputy president said that there will be no favoritism during nominations, and most of the politicians know it very well that once you pass through the nomination process, then you are as good as elected, politically speaking. And finally, Raila Ruto clash in Mombasa as 2022 campaigns intensify. The presidential hopefuls tore into each other in vote hunt on their return to coastal city. That was on Sunday. They have been pitching camp there at the coast, and the DP will still pitch tent in Mombasa today. And finally, legislators welcome move to amend political parties pact. That is ahead of special sitting starting tomorrow. And among the bill, the businesses on the order paper as MPs reconvene for a 2-day special sitting starting Tuesday is the political parties amendment bill 2021 by National Assembly, which was sponsored by Majority Leader Amos Kimunya, that will bring hygiene in the formation of coalitions and end the era of political mistrust. So the lawmakers who had proceeded for long recess on December 2nd will consider president nominees for the Public Service Commission's chairperson and members to the National Gender and Equality Commission. So that is among some of the issues they'll be tackling on the order paper starting tomorrow for a 2-day special sitting in Parliament. Doreen.
All right, on the front page of the People's Daily, we can begin with some education matters, and this in respect to universities. The teachers or lecturers, better still, having to undertake that training. Remember, there was a bit of push and pull in regards to whether they would or will not undertake that training, but now, as it seems, is all set as varsities roll out refresher teacher training. So which universities perhaps have actually met that threshold, as it was announced by the Teacher Service Commission? When you get to those details, I'll be telling you which universities and why specifically those universities actually will be the first ones to undertake that teacher training refresher courses. And also, Ruto Raila race for swing vote gathers pace. This is just as they are in the coast region, whereby both politicians have pitched tent in the coast in the hope of turning political tide in their favor. Maybe I can just pick a bite from both leaders, is that when it comes to Raila Odinga, this is just what he mentioned, that they are coming to you wearing the skin of a sheep, but deep inside their hearts, they wear a hat of a hyena. So who is he referring to? And the DP says, once we get into office, we will deal with land issues. The other group came and disrupted our government. So even when it comes to perhaps these leaders continuing to popularize their bid for 2022, this is a time where we say Kenyans need not to be vulnerable, because yes, they will come and they will tell you what they will do. Have they done it over the years in which they were in office? This is the question that we keep asking all the time. when it comes to these leaders just continuing to popularize their bid ahead of next year's general elections. And also Kiunjuri says that the presidential hopefuls rather should name their running mates, saying that it is important for Kenyans to know the running mate of each presidential candidate for them to be in a better position and place to choose their leaders wisely. Remember that as of now, as it stands, none of them has mentioned either of their running mate, and that is what Kiunjuri is now saying, that it is very important for Kenyans to also know who the running mates of these presidential candidates are for them to be able to choose effectively and wisely. To some health matters, this is again in respect to that Omicron virus there, and now the ministry is just saying that there's no possibility of the government to enforce lockdown in the country regardless, and this is just from what the CS Health is saying, and he's citing the advice that he's gotten from experts, researchers, epidemiologists in regards to not locking down the country regardless of the fact that perhaps numbers are continuing to rise as a result of that Omicron variant. And this is again why Kenyans are just being urged to continue to take that vaccine, as well as continuing to adhere to all the guidelines and protocols that have been mentioned by the Ministry of Health, even as we get towards the festive season. And also over 2 million people to benefit from solar energy projects. These are just specific counties which have been put in place that are set to benefit from these solar energy projects, and these households in the 14 counties and other areas not been connected to the national grid to get free installation of this solar energy. In addition to that, they'll also get something more than that. So again, also when you get to those details, I'll be telling you about these 14 counties, why specific these 14 counties, and in addition to solar energy, what else they are set to benefit from when it comes to that particular ministry and what it is doing for them. And also government orders for demolition of all unsafe buildings. We also had this particular story on the GMK Newsbreeze, and what the ministry is saying there, the CS, that is for roads and infrastructure, James Macharia, who ordered for that demolition of the unsafe buildings, and what has also informed that at this particular time. And lastly, regional CJs vows to eradicate corruption, which is also being spearheaded by our very own Chief Justice Martha Koome, and also the plan that they're putting into place at least to eradicate corruption, given the fact that this is one of those things that continue to eat and bite the East Africa and even at large the African continent. So which kind of policies are they putting into place as regional Chief Justice to ensure they eradicate this corruption? You need to stick around to just get to understand more about this when we get to those details. Regina.
Well, before I give you a sneak peek of what we have on the standard this morning, we take a quick breather. We'll be right back. Good morning once again. If you're tuning in, this is KBC Channel 1. Now we're sampling the dailies for you. I have a copy of the Standard. Sneak peek, what we have on the front page. Matters of politics take center stage. And this is about the Oka camp. They say Oka leaders tough stand on Raila. Mudavadi says no to Olive Branch and asks presidential contenders to stop wooing him as Kalonzo challenges ODM leader to retire. Now the group says it's going to field a candidate for the top seat come 2022. The scribe has gone further to just quote ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi saying, "I cannot say at this time and point that we have made any decision other than the fact that we as Oka are moving forward and we shall build our momentum." Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, on the other hand, says two of you came together and brought peace in the country, but to maintain that peace as Uhuru goes home, he should be joined by Raila. In a rejoinder to those two, ODM leader Raila Odinga says, "I know my path and Musalia's will cross. I am sure we will walk together." We are all looking at what is happening. As we say here, a day in politics is quite a long time. So we'll be keeping tabs on what is happening in the Oka camp there, where they're saying they're standing firm. They're going to be fielding a candidate for the top seat. On the other hand, we have ODM leader there and presidential hopeful
saying that he knows that Musalia Mudavadi of ANC, him and his, their paths will cross and they will get to an agreement. We will be keeping tabs on that. Also on the front page of the Standard is about the issue of the Omicron. The Health Ministry data shows an increase in COVID-19 infections with more than 7,000 cases out of a sample size of 75,000 reported between December and 18th. Among the 7,000 cases are 27 of the Omicron variant. Further on, it's the festive season. Question is, what is going to be in your plate? Scientists, however, have warned that you need to go easy on nyama choma. Red Meat will be giving you details why. So matters of, tourism, if you ask industry players, especially those in the hospitality industry, for them, more or less 2020 did not exist in their calendars, in their books, other than the losses and such, owing to the COVID-19 disruptions there. So the tourism block, especially along the coastal block, is really happy or smiling all the way to the bank with bookings at 95% in terms of people wanting to go have a good time, especially with family. So the coastal area still remains the top holiday destination for a majority of Kenyans. However, we're still reminded that we are not out of the woods yet when it comes to matters COVID-19. Also on the back page of the Standard, we're talking about matters of soccer, and this is local soccer. The EPL results, we had Nzoia taking on Tusker, where Tusker won 1-0. Talanta met up with AFC Leopards and it ended on a 1-1 draw. Wazito took on Mathare United, where Wazito thrashed Mathare 4-1. Kenya Police thrashed Bidco United 3-0. That is what we have on both the front page and the back page of the Standard this morning.
Let's not get to those details. Originally, you should tell us a bit about that Nyama part. Because I'm sure kuna watu wamepatwa off guard, like, why? What do you mean? Zile mbuzi zita go see the father this holiday. All right, now let's come to the Daily Nation, and we start off with a bit of politics. One story concerning Raila Odinga and the other concerning Ruto, with Raila vows to revive coast economy as Ruto to wage war on drugs. Page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation. And on page 4 concerns the Deputy President pledges 100 billion Kenya shillings to battle the drug menace. Now, he vowed to deal with the drug abuse menace in the coast and other parts of the country if he is elected president come August 2022. Looking at his campaign trail currently in Mombasa, and yesterday he said he would set aside 100 billion to fight the vice and to rehabilitate addicts in that region, and of course across the country. And he was speaking while he was addressing a rally at the Burhania grounds. He also said that his government will allocate more funds to create jobs for the youth in this area, because he lamented the lack of jobs is what has pushed so many young people towards drugs and other crimes that are related to drugs in one way or the other. On the other hand, we have Raila Odinga, who said, I will revive the coastal economy. He said that he promised rather to revitalize the coastal region's economy by revamping industries, including marine and other resources that have been left for foreigners to exploit. He went on to say that if he's elected president, if he is elected the 5th president of our country, he will ensure Kenyans are empowered to carry out deep sea fishing, and that this would of course be beneficial to the coastal people first at the forefront. And then he also promised to establish a fish processing industries in order to add value to the fish from the Indian Ocean and make the most of the Indian Ocean by boosting fishing and tourism sectors for the people of the coastal regions. Anasemanga ahadi ni deni, si ndio? Ahadi ni deni.
Yeah.
Well, I think
before we close, you said we talk about nyama choma. So apparently, the Ministry of Health, as well as the WHO, that is the World Health Organization, has revealed that consumption of meat leads to the risk of developing gastric cancer. And more specifically, it is red meat because they are potential carcinogens, especially this when grilled. So nyama choma, if you can avoid. If you can avoid, and I'm saying it with a tinge of salt because every time we talk about
that's a disclaimer.
A turn up, yeah.
It's a tough battle.
Yeah.
Mimi Kenya sijaielewa ni watu nakulanga nyama medium rare ama rare.
You can just eat but si kila siku. Unajua there are those that actually eat it like drinking water.
Hiyo ndio mnaamka kukula asubuhi ndio mnakula lunch leftover na usiku mnachanja ingine kibaki kesho mnakula breakfast lunch.
Unafanya chemsha.
And I think even the health expert, that's what they're talking about. It's just the rate at which you consume it.
Now you're talking about medium rare and rare. Well, if you travel to Ethiopia, they actually eat raw meat.
Raw. Our ancestors did not discover fire for us to eat raw food.
And they don't get these diseases.
Running eggs.
It's actually a delicacy in Ethiopia.
And they don't get these diseases.
The same people wenye nakulanga mayai bado inatingika.
Yeah.
Our ancestors, they discovered fire.
Those are dietary habits.
Ndio upike chakula hivi.
Just to remind you that on our diary we have so much. We're going to be keeping tabs on what is happening down at the coast where the Deputy President is in Mombasa, and he's going to be at Burhani grounds today, and he's also going to be in Kilifi at the Jarubini fields, I think, as well as Kaloleni. We're going to be keeping tabs on that especially, and also what is happening on the corridors of justice, so to speak, where we have our reporters keeping tabs on, what is transpiring there. But now that brings a cap to matters in the headlines this morning. You can get further details on our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke. We are going to be talking about matters of conservation. The conservation question, is it a reality or a fallacy? And do communities actually benefit from having conservancies within their areas? That is going to be addressed adequately in not too long right here. So do keep it here.